But
Yeah.
can we just jump to Kenya, please? Because I'm
Okay,
so
time out. Mama Marki Costello, who I've worked with and took her classes. So we go back in very deep conversations we've had. Now, this is just reality TV, so this is just very fluffy conversations. But let me tell you somebody that I have loved from the beginning. I used to, in fact, say Real Housewives of Atlanta started season 5 when the great Kenya Moore came through. Gone with the Wind Fabulous. I am a huge Kenya Moore fan. I never liked the notion, oh, you're just a has-been from the 90s. You might say you're a has-been from the 90s if you weren't around and kind of saw what Kenya was. Kenya was the culture of the time. We, like, in terms of me growing up, I was 18, 19, 20, 21 when Kenya was moving, right? And so when she came onto Atlanta, she could have been full of herself or whatever the case, but she showed up and she performed. I've always loved the great Kenya Moore hair care. So I will be happy if you also, as a casting director and as a talent manager, if you agree that she is one of the best. Now I'm going to be at the edge of my seat eating my popcorn. If you
I
said,
love Kenya. I love Kenya.
if you were going to be like, if I was going to say like, okay.
I love Kenya. And it's really a travesty that they let her go over the reason they let her go, because once again, it goes back to what we said about Brandy. It's like, oh wait, so now you're moving the line again. Now, like, okay, so here the new cast member is at an event for Kenya. We all know how Kenya is, which is why she makes great reality TV. And she puts up something about this girl. I blame the producers. They know what the fuck is coming. I had a reality show. So it's like,
Yeah.
they know what's happening. If that was going to be an issue, those producers should have stopped it before it ever
Yeah.
got to that point. Otherwise, someone said to her, because they all have to discuss storyline and what they're doing. So for them to be like, oh my God, we didn't know, bullshit.
Yeah.
And to hang her out to dry like that and then say,
Exactly. Yeah.
that's what pissed me off. It was like, shame on you.
Yeah, no, you're right. You did the Drama Queen on the E channel. I've done Fuse TV, the VJ Search, as well as TLC. I did a show on there. Everybody knows what's generally happening, and it is, even if you think it was insanely a really bad move, it's hard for the cast members to be nudged along that move. And the moment it gets reacted in such a way, people sort of turn their backs on you. Now, the great thing about Kenya is she still maintains, I'm still involved. And what I mean by that with Kenya is, and I love this about Kenya, she's a superstar regardless, whether she left reality TV to go, when she was pregnant, when she came back, whether she's from the 90s, whether she's, a pageant girl, Kenya will always be. So while I think it's kind of they never gave her a spinoff, she should have a spinoff,
100%.
But nonetheless, like what I always say is, sometimes it feels like the cast members, they define so much on the success of this show. Kenya Moore is not bigger than the show. I'm not trying to say anyone's bigger than the show, but like, she don't care. She's not hung up on it. She's a star regardless. That's an internal thing. You know what I mean? You have that, Marki. You know what I mean?
I think shame on Bravo and the production company that produces Atlanta, in the sense where let's not pretend like, when all reality is produced, people, and and the producers know everything that's coming, and the fact that like they hung her out to dry was just horrific, in my opinion. It goes back to the Brandy, the Nene's, like, Nene made good TV, whether you love Nene Leakes or hated her. Nene made good TV.
You don't think she was a tad overrated?
Towards the end, yes, because Nene started to drink her own Kool-Aid and hype, and not remembering where she came from. It's like, Nene, you can go do Ryan Murphy's sitcoms and all of the TV shit, and more power to you. But don't forget where you came from. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so, but Nene made for great TV. I'm so happy Portia's coming back. I love Portia.
Yeah,
and I think Portia going through her divorce and all of that stuff, I really hope we get a lot of that story once again, because we know Portia, we love Portia, and what makes Portia so great is she bounces back, and that's what we have to remember. There's a part of this formula that works is because someone gets cheated on, someone goes through something devastating, but they climb themselves back, they bounce back. We love a comeback in Hollywood of any kind, because we as the viewer can relate and connect, and we want to root for you.
Yeah.
So
Well, Portia makes sense, even though she gets under my skin as a cast member, as she is
right,
compelling. One thing about Portia, she is the Georgia Peach. Like, that's another thing. Like, yes, it's great to have like a Cynthia come through and a Kenya. These are people I like.
right,
But Portia, as much as Phaedra was, you know what I mean? Like, well, I'm not sure Phaedra is from Georgia to begin with, but the point is, Portia is a Georgia peach, and it is important to have her on the show. I think she does do a really good job. Absolutely.
right.
Anyways, Atlanta will be interesting. We're going to end with New Jersey because we're going to have a love fest of Melissa Gorga. We are, but
Yeah.
one person I need to mention, because when we talk about compelling, and I don't know if you're going to say that she has the A, B, C, and C storyline, but are you with me with that Larsa Pippen? Okay, Marki, are we ready to get into it?
Yes.
They always say, oh, Larsa, she was she was kissing ass of the Kardashians, which, by the way, I loved Larsa from season 1, her season 1 on Miami. I actually didn't really follow her on the Kardashians. And so it's always that notion of like, oh, she's just a Kardashian has been or whatever. I'm like, I don't think Larsa carries herself that way. When you're friends with her, she loves you. I think if she moves on, she moves on. So the joke that I make, Marki, is Larsa didn't need the Kardashians needed Larsa. That's how much I like her. Yeah.
I love Larsa.
Hey, Ronnie Jr.